Welcome to Soul Trek. This week's episode, Get Grounded. Well, when I was a wee little lad, I, without permission, borrowed my father's voltmeter. A voltmeter is a thing that measures how much voltage there is in a thing like, say, a battery or something like that. Anyway, like I say, I borrowed it without permission, and I got grounded. Ba-dum-bump. So there's a little joke I'm I'm sorry for. I really didn't mean to start off that way, but there you go. Getting grounded wasn't the typical sort of punishment I got growing up. I think once I actually did get grounded. I lost 75 cents, which at the time was my whole allowance. It was Dartmouth Natal Day. I was down by Binook Lake, and my 75 cents went missing. So there you go. Mom, she'll be watching this and she'll say, no, you didn't actually get grounded. She's probably right. It wasn't the sort of punishment my parents dished out towards me. More likely, any kind of discipline I got would have been their disappointment in my behavior or something like that. Actually, that little joke I made at the beginning about borrowing my dad's voltmeter and getting grounded for it wasn't entirely accidental. I meant to tell that story because I wanted to speak very briefly about a theologian named Paul Tillich. He twisted the idea about God being the ground of all being to God being the ground of being itself. And I just wanted to pick up on that theme because I think it's really important that we begin to see that everything that is, in other words, everything that has being, even inanimate objects and plants and animals and human beings, we are all grounded in God. And I'm calling that realization, that awareness that we have, as getting grounded. We should get grounded. We should become more aware of how God is the ground of being itself. Everything that is an expression somehow of God's being, and that's a wonderful thing for us to celebrate. Lately, if you've been following the news at all and cutting through all the wars and the nonsense that's going on in the States and all the kind of, they're really, really important things, but if you can cut through all of that, you might also have seen images of the telescope that's also up there. I think it's called the James Webb Telescope. The images coming out of there are absolutely amazing. I'd almost say unbelievable, except that they're so exciting. There's one picture, I think it says that if you held a grain of sand at arm's length up in the sky, what you see in this picture is what's behind that grain of sand. Thousands upon thousands of galaxies. And the incredible, the truly wonderful and awe-inspiring thing is that God is the ground of all being, including all of those galaxies that are seen behind a grain of sand through this James Webb Telescope. And I see a lot of my colleagues, a lot of my friends who are people of faith posting these pictures, and I think for the same reason that I'm speaking about it now, because it's such an awe-inspiring sort of thing for us. In everything that we do, in all of our loves and our laughs and our disappointments and our grief, in everything that we do, in everyone we meet, and in everything that we encounter, somehow God is in that relationship. And when we're called to something bright and beautiful and wonderful, that's the ground of being itself. That's God at work in us. It doesn't matter what we're doing, driving a car, writing a sermon, doing our work playing bingo, and people ask sometimes if I ever played bingo, and I say, yeah, I used to dab a little. Sorry, another bad joke, but I thought I'd share that one with you as well. I just think this is something for us to celebrate, these wonderful images we're getting from the telescope. Just an awe-inspiring expression of that tremendous joy, and just how awesome God must be. And I think it does kind of two things that seem to be intuitively opposed to one another. The first thing it does is it makes us realize that the universe is so big, so unimaginably big, that we can't possibly be the center of the universe. And that humility is something that we should grasp onto. And yet, at the core of our gospel, each and every one of us are at the center of God's love. That's the amazing thing about how big and wonderful the source of being itself really is. How big and wonderful God really is. The creator and maker of all, and the lover of each and every one of us. God bless.